Oh, hello there. I've been expecting you. It is I, the rational male. Today I'll be explaining to you the marketplace. Not the marketplace of ideas, and certainly not Facebook marketplace. Today I'm talking about the sexual marketplace. No, it's not a Tinder for sex workers. This is the extremely rational idea that women are commodities for the men, the rational men, to pursue and acquire with their resources, big muscles, and pure testosterone. Now, why don't you sit back, okay? Because we're going to test your level of rationality here. Think about this hypothetical. You're at a bar, and this smoking hot babe is sitting alone. You approach her and you have a conversation, but she makes it very clear that she is not interested in having relations with you. How do you proceed? Say nothing, smirk, and pull back. Reply with a smirk. You're already thinking about it. Smirk and change the story. Light smirk, keep vibing. I just say, okay, if you say so, with a smirk. Why are all the men smirking? This seems kind of creepy. Oh, right, I'm rational, I forgot. That's right, dudes. You just have to do a little bit of lip smirking action to get those panties dropping across the country in unison. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Giga Chad, Hunter Avallone here, back with another video. Now, if you haven't already caught on, my intro was indeed sarcasm, okay, don't worry, but unfortunately, it's not too far from reality. This is where we meet the most Chad, the biggest Sigma, the ultimate rational male, a guy named Rollo Tomato Sauce, author of the bro science book on women, The Rational Male. Let's take a look at some of his wholesome content. Women will die alone. Okay, well that escalated quickly. Let's go ahead and find out why the femoids will surely be alone when they knock on the pearly gates.
I'm going to quote Pook here once again, the inimitable Pook, which is, women would rather share a successful alpha than be saddled with a faithful beta.
Facts.
And in 2022, they will go to great lengths never to be saddled with a faithful beta.
Facts.
Women hate beta males so much.
It's true.
Well, my brain cells are dying alone.
Women hate beta males so much
It's true.
that they will go to 4 to 8 to sometimes 12 years of college to get and pay God knows how, Aaron Clary knows how much money to get those degrees, take out how many loans to get there, to make all of those personal sacrifices so they can work in a soul-crushing job in HR because they so distrust men to be in control and to provide any kind of security, whether that's emotional, financial, or whatever. They are so against the idea of being forced to marry somebody who is substandard that they are willing to go and put up with all of that and like I said, go to college, go to get the job and everything else so they can avoid that. That's how intense it is right now.
That's true.
I'm sorry, there's just so much rationality here. I have to keep stopping the video to just process this. Dude, maybe it's possible that women are going to college to just avoid people like you. First of all, why the heck are you assuming that all women are going into HR jobs? I guess Ronald McDonald here thinks he can just, like, say things? But it would help if you could actually back it up, or at least just try to back it up. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, women accounted for 52% of all workers employed in management, professional, and related occupations in 2018. 27% of chief executives and 37% of lawyers were women as well. Secondly, Rollo Tamale here seems to believe that women pursuing an education will somehow lead to a decrease in said woman's happiness. This is also entirely untrue. In fact, research suggests that the more education you have, the happier you tend to be. In a survey that utilized data from the US General Social Surveys, 94% of people with a bachelor's degree or more reported feeling happy or very happy with their lives overall, while 89% of high school grads said the same. You'll notice very quickly that this guy has a way of manipulating situations and weaponizing his false claims to put the blame on women and make men out to be the poor little victims.
And it's only getting worse because they have this.
That's
because
a great
they
point.
have options, and they
Women
go
bust their asses.
They bust
to
their
not
asses
be stuck with
to
regular
not
guys.
get with guys. And so
Yeah.
when Giga Karen is
True,
over
true,
here,
bro.
when
Damn.
Giga Karen is over here and goes, I guess I'll die alone. Yes, you will die alone because you've got this.
Yeah.
Because you turned yourself into the man that you want to marry. You turned yourself. I'm an alpha female.
Profound.
How come I can't find the right guy?
God
because
damn.
because you are the right guy. You're the right guy. That's why women marry themselves.
He does realize that men are more than just the Federal Reserve personified, right? Secondly, I'm getting major boomer vibes here from this phone badge shtick. Lastly, I know Roly Poly is very scared of data points. In fact, they're almost as terrifying to him as rejection. But Pew Research data literally shows that college-educated millennials, specifically those with a bachelor's degree, are the most likely to get married. Secondly, according to the BLS, higher education was associated with lower divorce rates as compared to those with lower education. So this idea that women are conniving men haters who are miserable because they pursued a college education and that they'll somehow die alone is about as close to the truth as this guy is to getting his wife off.
It's
I'm not
a,
fucking myself.
It's not a personal worth thing. It's a sexual market value thing. And then they say, well, how do I get that guy? And I say, well, you need to be more feminine, be more nurturing. I can list all these feminine qualities. And to them, after a lifetime of building themselves up to what they are, it sounds like I'm saying, dumb yourself down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If femininity, when I say become more feminine, I might as well be saying dumb yourself down.
Wait, women can be nurturing, caring, and a great mom while also being educated and having a successful career. Secondly, I'm about to bring up this guy's trigger word. Studies have also shown that although women do prefer educated men, men were also not intimidated by well-educated women. Furthermore, by using a Tinder study with equally attractive women and varying levels of education, it found that men were not shying away from pursuing well-educated women. His final dumb point, and this is something the rational male pushes frequently, this concept of a sexual marketplace. His claim already begins to crumble just with the evidence that men are still just as attracted to well-educated women and that the divorce rates are lower among the higher educated. But you'll hear a lot of cucks who are terrified of women bring up this bro science that is the sexual marketplace. Firstly, this concept wrongly assumes that women are simply a commodity, something to acquire like a trophy, and that men only have worth so far as their bank account goes. Secondly, an inversely proportional supply and demand relationship only applies to markets that include the exchange of money, according to an economist and professor at the Vancouver School of Economics. Instead, dating more closely resembles bartering. People decide to start relationships by identifying a unique combination of traits, like sense of humor, kindness, or a killer body that they want in a partner. It's a careful trade, not a business transaction. That makes the market really, really inefficient. Barter economies are difficult because trying to find somebody who is selling what you want to buy and is buying what you have to sell is complicated. The traditional supply and demand model also assumes that all goods on the market are the same. The only way the story works is if women are all essentially identical and if women are all offering the same product. Now, thankfully, all women are not in fact the same, and thank the spaghetti monster that not all men are the same either. I have a feeling that a lot of guys would end up like this dude, and our value would greatly decrease. Like, come on, man. Us Giga Chad woman respecters don't want our bartering value decreased because the 7-Eleven ripoff brand of a man is somehow our spokesperson. Now, I understand that that brief clip may have given you some kind of a terminal illness, but wait, there's more. You see, not only are women set up to die alone because they don't want to rely on a man to provide everything for them, women are also cleverly responsible for the war in Ukraine. Well, that is, according to Rolo Polo's video, how women are manipulating you during the war in Ukraine. Ah, yes, Nothing screams rationality like examining Russia invading Ukraine and thinking, how is this the woman's fault?
You're like a museum curator, right? This picture and this picture and this picture, and it forms this theme for when you're walking through the gallery of you, that's what you want people to look at. And really, that's kind of what we're doing in a meta scale, I think, right now. So when we see pictures of women out there on the front line, she's got an airsoft gun, right? When you see it like that, a split second, you go, oh, look, women are out there and they're doing the thing. What is it? What is the message that those curated images are trying to convey to you? That's the crux of today's topic.
Okay, so first of all, that woman with the airsoft gun was not fighting in the war. She has clarified to multiple outlets that she was only posting IG pictures with captions supporting her country. She was not and is not enlisting to actually fight. Secondly, that woman has been posting photos of herself with airsoft guns for quite some time, years before Russia ever started to invade Ukraine. Why is this guy just assuming that some perception is being curated? I've noticed a lot of right-wingers tend to believe that everything is some kind of crafted agenda. Like, use your supposed rationale here, buddy, and stop schizo posting.
Why is it that we lean towards that? Why is it that the moment reality says young men 17 to 60, or to 60, men 17 to 60 must stay in the country and must take up arms? Why is it that the reflexive response is, well, women can do it too? Blah, blah, blah.
I'm not sure that's the reflective response of really anybody outside of your manosphere, but women literally can do it too. Women currently make up 15% of the Ukrainian army, according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. That's a pretty large chunk of people, especially in a country with a relatively small population. Secondly, again, women have been part of the Ukrainian military for quite some time, years before Russia ever decided to start invading. Lastly, in typical fashion, he's acting like men are the victims and the sole fighters defending the country, but that's simply not true. Ukraine also called on women aged 18 to 60 to enlist, and women in certain professions were allowed for military conscription, a mandatory enlistment in the service. In December 2021, Ukraine revised this law, so women, librarians, journalists, musicians, veterinarians, and psychologists were all required to register. I'm actually impressed by the amount of lies this guy has managed to spread in simply 1 minute. This is some major Giga Chad energy here.
It's not, oh, thank God we have these guys to go out there and help, defend against the invading tribe. It's, well, can we play war too? Can girls play war too? That's essentially what this curation of that imagery is stating right now online in a meta scale.
So all the credit should just go to the men and women are playing war? I just mentioned how women make up a decent portion of the military and they're required to register. At this point, this is just blatant sexism, elevating the male fighters and cheapening the women fighters based on nothing but their gender. How did this guy get married? Wait, is the only reason he's mad that women are fighting the Russians is because he got his mail order bride from Ukraine?
It's emotionalism versus empiricism. And there's nothing more empirical and more in-your-face real than people actually dying in war.
Yes, men and women die in war. What does this have to do with women manipulating people during the war? Secondly, this is not emotionality versus rationality. It is a fact that women make up a portion of the military, fight for their country, and die for their country. Where is the conniving manipulation here from the spooky women?
At what point is rationality and empiricism and seeing it in black and white right there, reality of it in front of you, at what point do you go, you know what? You're right. Because I'm going to say right now that those ego investments, particularly in the fempowerment narrative, don't die easy, but they're going to very, very soon. And so how do you go and say, well, women are out there doing it too? No, not in the same numbers. And they're certainly not by the same requirements, because that when reality calls, men have to answer that call. Women have the option and the luxury to, for the most of it. And even when they don't, they will still pretend that they do, because it's a good opportunity to what? To cultivate the image.
I've now mentioned this several times, but again, women were called to fight, and women in various professions were required to register, but he's leaving this fact out very conveniently because it completely crushes his insane conclusion that women are just choosing to risk their lives in war to prove some kind of girl power agenda. His entire argument rests upon the asinine assumption that women are all conniving, selfish, and only interested in proving a point. This guy is actually so stupid, I think he may have just overdosed on red pills. Now you may be wondering why I'm going after this guy as hard as I am. You may even think that he has decent arguments because you've been huffing glue. But ultimately, the image that this guy presents of how men and women do and should behave is ultimately harmful. It's harmful to women, and it's harmful to men's success in long-term relationships. According to a report from a nonprofit domestic violence organization using over 300 sources, they found that men who adhere to rigid stereotypes regarding masculinity were more likely to physically abuse women as well as pressure women into sex. Long-standing ideals about manhood include ideas that men should be strong, forceful, and dominant in relationships and households. Men should be tough and in control, while women are lesser or even malicious and dishonest. Well, this sounds very similar to the bullshit that Rollo Cannoli was just spewing. Men who adhere to rigid sexist stereotypes of how to be a man are more likely to use and tolerate violence against women. On the other hand, men with more flexible, gender-equitable ideas about manhood are more likely to treat women with respect, and promoting healthy, more flexible models of masculinity is an important way to end domestic and sexual violence. At the end of the day, this bro science regarding alpha males and beta males, as well as the sexual marketplace, bruh, does very little besides reinforce harmful stereotypes which lead to the abuse of women, as well as creating a deep distrust and hatred of women from angry 40-year-old virgins. The ideas shared by this alpha also lead to unhappiness in men and hurt their chances of building a successful, respectful, blossoming, long-term relationship. I just wish women would stop getting so smart and stop creating so many wars. Curse you, femoids. Signed, the most rational male ever. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when I drop a new video.